Hello and welcome to this video. My name is Iceman768 and welcome to my guide on how to effectively play Pokémon Unite. And no, this isn't a random video where you become a pro player after watching it. This video should help you understand what you should be doing in a Unite match and also sharing my ideas on changing some strategies. But before we start, I would like to thank Pokècord and Unite DB for most of the information that you'll be seeing today. Without them, this video won't be possible. I would also like to thank my friends for helping me with the custom strategies and other stuff related to this video. Now, with all that out of the way, I hope you enjoy and let's get this started. Here is the map that we will be using for this video. I'll explain everything about this map. There are two attackers on each lane, one for top and one for bottom. There are also some quick information about this map that reads: Pokemon that you may not be able to steal or depending on the situation have to give it to your lane partner has been marked with this. So what this means is, if you look at the enemy side of the map, most of the exclamation marks are on their side. Example would be here. As you can see, there's two right here, one at the Ardino and the other one at the Vespiquen. What this means is that it is either too risky to try and get, or you may need to give it to your teammate depending on the situation. In this clip, I managed to kill the Bellsweet as they rushed in without a plan in mind, so I managed to steal the Ardino here and went in for a risk as I did not see any Bellsweet's teammate. At this point, I know it was too risky to try and dunk, so I went back to support my teammate and help them farm up. Now, there's a new strategy that I came up with to get into lane faster, and I think all, if not most people should be using this. So in this map, we're going to follow the yellow path. We're going to kill the first two A-Poms, then ignore the other two A-Poms, and you want to go straight up to the Ardino and try to steal that Ardino. Afterwards, you want to go down to your two Ardinos and safely farm up. For the cyan path, we're basically doing the same thing but the opposite of what the yellow path is doing. So we want to ignore the first two A-Poms and go for the last two. And after that, you want to go into the enemy side where the two Ardinos are. And with those Ardinos there, you want to try and go in for a steal. What we said at bot lane stays true at top lane. For the pink path, you want to kill the first two Alpinos and go and farm up safely. And for the green path is just doing the opposite of pink path, killing the last two and going for steals if possible. Now the center lane, or the jungle lane. The jungler has to get through their camps really quickly in order to get to lane faster. So the order to kill the Pokemons in your camps are Lillipup, Ludicolo, Bouffalant, and the two Corphish. If you have a Flufftail, use it on the Bouffalant before it uses its charge attack, so it stops the charge and you will deal more damage at the same time. Also, next to the map there's also a jungle guide. Here's everything you need to know about. Number 1. Prioritizing level up. This is important. As a jungler, you need to be the highest level as quickly as possible to set up ganks and support your teammate when pushing or collecting objectives. Number 2. Try to gank where needed. Ganking is the most important part of the jungler's job, as it helps your teammate have more breathing room and it also helps your teammate dunk more points, collect objective, or making sure that your team can farm up so they don't get bullied by an over-leveled Pokemon on the enemy side. Number 3. This is more of a tip than a guide, but jungle respawns every 1 minute, so you have to keep your eye on the timer and make sure you go back to the base and into your jungle lane so you can farm up as quickly as possible, related to number 1. Last but not least, after 1 or 2 waves of jungle sweep, everyone should have access to the jungle lane. After a certain level, you really don't need jungle and people will still be under leveled, so you need to make sure you're done with the jungle after 2 jungle sweeps. The next part is learning about objectives. Objectives are important. Well, not as important as Zapdos, but both Rotom and Drednaw are equally important. Why is it important to collect these objectives, and when do I get them? Well, let's start with Drednaw. Now with Drednaw, we know he gives the team EXP. We now know how much he gives thanks to the Drednaw EXP chart. And looking from it alone, you think, oh, Drednaw gives more EXP late game, so we should definitely get him late as possible. Which is incorrect. Yes, the Drednaw gives more EXP, and yes, it gives us a shield, so it can help us with the Zapdos fight, but every good buff has a good debuff. As Drednaw has a hidden ability that reduces your attack towards Zapdos, and thanks to the people over this website, we can have the correct numbers as they go on to say, we use Pikachu in the practice area, we defeated Drednaw at around 207, then proceeded to Zapdos. To check the damage reduction, we first casted Electro Ball on Zapdos, and it dealt 569 damage to Zapdos. After the Drednaw effect then, we cast Electro Ball again, and true enough, the damage is now 1200. This in total is reducing your team's damage by 55% for 90 seconds, meaning you really should not be going for Drednaw after anything below 3 minutes and 30 seconds, but anything above that you should definitely go for. Now we understood Drednaw's effects, let's look at Rotom. Now, I know this might sound a bit crazy, but let the enemy team get the first Rotom. Let me explain. As you have noticed, there are 3 Ardinos. Those 3 Ardinos can only spawn once the first goal is destroyed. And I know what you're thinking, why is this important? Well, we have to look at Ardino's EXP value, and if we look at the EXP stats, we can see that Ardino has the highest EXP value that isn't a buffing Pokemon. Those buffing Pokemon are Ludicolo, Bouffalant, Drednaw, Rotom, and of course the one, the only, Zapdos. So this means that Ardino has the highest EXP value in the game, and this should be the highest priority to take. So honestly, just let that first Rotom ram into the first goal and try to ignore the first Rotom wave, but after the second and the third wave, definitely go for the Rotom. It's a great way to pressure the enemy. Now it's time for us to talk about the new strategy that we should be playing in Pokemon Unite. Here's the tier list that we're going to be using. Anywhere above S tier is a great pick, A tier are also good, and B tier is very situational. Mostly go for S or SS plus Pokemons. Now we are going to talk about the changes we are doing in game. So normally we will have tanks who go top paths and the support who go bottom path, right? What if we swap their lanes so that tanks now go bot path and the supports go top path? Now the reason why I decided to make the supports go top and not tanks is the EXP share. Now before you start disliking the video and unsubscribing me and whatnot, let me explain. See, in the bot lane there are 5 Ardinos, and as we explained before, they give out the most EXP value. But how much EXP? Well, early game they give you 200 EXP when they spawn in, and adding that 5 Ardinos, that makes 1000 EXP, and late game before the Zapdos spawn, they all have 360 EXP each, which all adds up to 1800 EXP value from 5 alone. Top lane has 4 air ponds and a Corphish. If we collect all the EXP they give early game, that will be the total of 540, and the late game before Zapdos spawns in, it would be 1300 EXP. So at bottom lane, the total EXP value you get is 1800, and at top lane is 1300. Which is why having EXP shared at top lane will definitely boost up the top laner to gain an equal, if not higher level than bot lane. Next part is building a team. Building a team is no easy job, but with the current meta, I can help you with that. We shall start off with the defenders. The 2 main picks you should go for are Mamoswine and Slowbro. We're starting off with Mamoswine. Mamoswine is the best when it comes to setting up the enemies and knocking them down towards your allies for getting some easy kills. You may not be some killing machine, but you're a giant mammoth ready to take them back to the Ice Ages. Up next is Slowbro. Slowbro is the king of taking things slowly, literally, as he has great crowd control which can really annoy the enemy, and by the time your crowd controls are over, you're already dead. Up next we have attackers, and the option I went for Glaceon, Delphox and Ninetales. Glaceon is the best DPS I have ever seen. You're a mean being killing machine as your icicle shards either end the Pokemon's life or running away with a pixel HP. Delphox is next, and Delphox is a mix between annoying and evil, as his Fire Spin can automatically follow wherever the enemy goes and is a great crowd control. What's mixed with crowd control? Damage. And speaking of damage, she has great damage. And did I mention her ult is one of the fastest ults in the game? So you'll just be killing left and right. Up next we have Ninetales. While she is a weaker version of Delphox, what she lacks in damage makes up by having high crowd control. She is really good at stalling enemies and making sure they are dead right before they get back up. Up next we have the Speedsters Girl, and our 2 greater picks are Talonflame and Absol. Up next we have Talonflame, and Talonflame is fast, and Talonflame is strong, and Talonflame will probably kill you by the time you have time to react. Also Talonflame can fly, flying means no damage, and by the time they see you, they are dead. They will surrender faster than them dying. Next up is Absol, and it's Absol. Do I need to say more? Faster, stronger, and kill you before you can react to that reaction of the Talonflame. Absol is basically a Talonflame but with more crit and damage. But be careful with that high damage, Absol can be killed really fast. But by the time you see him, you'll probably be dead, so it doesn't really matter. Coming up next is the All-Rounders role, and the Pokemon we went for are Machamp and Serena. Machamp does it all: fast, strong, a bully to anyone who stands in his way. You deal massive crit damage and your enemies won't stand a chance after Machamp breaks a bone or two. Serena, the queen, the damage dealer, the everything. She does not take you alive as an answer, and will stomp you and kick you in the head and deal massive damage. And finally, the support, with Hopper and Blizzy taking the lead. And we have Hopper, the Pokemon that can summon hoops and summon the beasts within him, as he has the ability to teleport anything and anyone on his team to a location as he please, and supports the team by sending them back to base to heal up and then come back as if nothing happened. Up next, we have Blizzy, the healing Pokemon, also a tank, also a shield, also an everything. Blizzy is a great tank while it's such a great healer that your team will never die or get low on health. And that's it. That's our guide on playing Pokemon Unite. I hope you enjoyed. Please like and subscribe, and if you have any details you want to share with us, please leave it in the comment section. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!